All right, so today we're going to start processing the silver plated items. We're going to cut those up, put them in some sulfuric acid and nitric acid, and let that slowly dissolve away. All right, so we're going to start cutting these up. Oopsies. All right, so we're gonna get a little weight on that and see what we're starting off with. But all these pieces were tested positive for silver plate. So we're going to proceed, like I said, with hydrochloric acid and nitric, and we'll probably take it up to 120 to 140 degrees and let that dissolve that silver plate away. So we're going to, I've tared it out to milliliters. I'm going to add the sulfuric acid, then I'll add the nitric acid, and then we'll start on this. But I need to pour this in, and I will have to set the camera down. All right, so I've got 1,978 milliliters of sulfuric acid and 114 milliliters of nitric acid, and we are going to let that sit. I'm going to put it in my overflow pan right here, and I might turn the heat on that since it's, I don't know, it's like 30 something degrees outside right now. Anyway, it's starting to warm up, and we'll come back to that. Actually, it looks like it's kind of reacting right now. We'll come back to this in a little while. Man, that's beautiful, isn't it? So we've added the nitric acid. You can start to see a little bit of reaction, and I'm going to add just a little bit of heat to move this along. But man, it's going pretty good. It's a lot faster than that water cell, let me tell you. I thought I'd try and get a little close up, but it's we got a little bit of reaction going outside, and I'll get the temperature reading in just a second. But man, that's coming along, man. I almost feel like I could leave it alone without the heat, but in the interest of speeding this up. Well, I would say we have a little bit of reaction here, and I am going to turn the heat down on that. We'll get a temperature reading. I walked away from this and came back and checked on it, and we have vigorous reaction. We obviously have some nitric acid in there working away at that. You guys see those brown red fumes? Nitrogen dioxide or nitrous dioxide. We're going to get a close-up on that, man. It really is going after that silver plate. So I'm going to have another batch ready to pour into that and continue on. I'm obviously going to let this reaction die down before we take that off. And I'll get a temperature reading on it. We'll put it in here. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's so deadly. 393 degrees, a slight boil. I've definitely got to watch this, handling this. I'm going to really let it cool down. We'll come back in a couple of hours. All right, so we had to let that cool down. It's a little better, 119 degrees. Chickle got a little bit of copper in solution where that hot sulfuric acid was going after it. So I stirred it up. Obviously you can hear I have a respirator and goggles on. And we are going to let that sit. I'm going to prepare another batch to pour it into for later. And we're just going to do cold reaction. I was walked away from it, and I should have been watching this like a hawk. That's on me. See how easy it is to let things get away from you, man? That could have been a very dangerous situation. That was 393 degree sulfuric acid, man. That's no joke. So anyway, Here we are. We're going to make that bar. It's going to take a little bit longer than I thought, but I think I'm coming together with a plan. So this is cooled down enough to where I can pour it off into here, and let's examine this and see how it looks. So that's my plan, is to pour off into there and to continue on. We've got plenty of solution to dissolve silver. So that's the pour off. Let's see if I can get a close up to that. But man, we got bubbles, we got a reaction definitely going in that. I'll get a temperature reading on that, and I'm gonna stow that away for tonight. I'm gonna let it sit outside overnight, and we'll come back to it in the morning and dump it in another batch. And we'll just keep going until we use up all the solution, and then we'll deal with the recovering the silver. So here we are outside in the woodshed. I had rinsed that solution off, right? And you know what's funny is it's starting to cement out, or maybe that's just the plate coming off. But anyway, we'll recover that when we use a strainer. That is my rinse. This was the first batch. Let me turn it around for you so you guys get a good look. See, I'm not sure if the silver cementing out wasn't like that earlier. I feel like it's cementing out on the base metal of the spoons, which is okay with me. It makes recovery a little easier. So, oh, I just saw a bubble on that. Yeah, did you guys see that? Man, that thing's producing heat. I know that wasn't that hot. Anyway, here we are, and that's a little bit of gold that I had from a filter wash from that previous experiment, and I need to go after that. That was those pins we attacked with poor man's nitric, and I need to tighten that up and claim all values. I feel like I need to attempt that a little better. But silver plate, that is 838 grams that I put in there. And man, that stuff really works well. I'm impressed with sulfuric acid and nitric acid. I feel like it's a good way. See that? Man, we'll get a temperature reading on that. Well, the solution has turned purple, and we'll deal with it when we get back. It's still bubbling. I think there may have been just a little bit of gold-plated stuff in there. I don't know. Man, I tested everything for silver plate, so we'll just continue on, man. Hopefully the color gold is purple and not tin. But anyway, we're gonna keep going. We'll let that settle tonight, and we're just gonna keep on going until I can't use the solution anymore. And that is obviously some silver cementing out on solution. So that's pretty cool. I think I've come up with a method of recovering instead of dropping out as a chloride. I'm just going to continue to put the waste in and separate, and then we'll put this through the silver cell after I melt it in ingots. But I've got a plan. All right, so off camera I added a little sulfuric acid and a little bit of nitric acid, and that purple color's gone. And I was reviewing some things that Orby had said on dealing with silver plate on gold refining reform, and it was suggested to add a little acid, and the discoloration did go away. We had a little bit of nitric acid reaction earlier. I am going to pour this into here, and then we're going to see how it goes. I think we've gotten enough out, and any values that I missed, I'll melt this into a bar and run it through my copper cell to recover any values. So I'm going to do this off camera, and then we'll come back to it. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I added a little bit of sulfuric acid and nitric acid, and you can see the purple has gone away. And you know, I was thinking this might be yellow brass that made it purple. I don't know yet, but you see that right there? That's copper underneath this. So I don't know. I don't think this is yellow brass. I think this is another coating of some sort. And we're going to go after, I can't tell you how beautiful that copper looks. I just moved it around, but that has worked so well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use up the last of it. I'm going to put it in that stainless steel bowl. We're going to walk away from it tonight, and we're going to go after all the silver. I want to see copper. I want to get as much of this out as possible. And then what I'm thinking I'm going to do is put this in salt to get this out as a chloride and reuse this acid. I'm really impressed with the way it took care of that plated silver, and I still have a little bit more to go, but I'm kind of wanting to wrap this up. So we're going to keep at it. So I just poured that off into there, and we have a little bit of a reaction going, and we're going to let that sit. Look, see, there's some of that purple right there. Be interested to see what that came from. Usually I would think it wouldn't attack the stainless steel. I was thinking something in here. But anyway, I want to go after this last silver on this and just use it up and drop the silver out with salt to reuse this acid. But I'm going to keep at it. All right, so I just put a little of the rinse water in there, and watch that. See that beautiful copper, how that it cements out that little value of silver that's, I guess, on it, the surface. And it leaves me with, man, a little bit of silver cement each time, so it's adding up. Anyway, that's what we have. We're going to have some results eventually. It's taken a couple of days for this silver plate, but I've gone through a lot. All right, I have poured off the solution, and I wanted to do a little test run. You know, you can put salt in this, drop it out as a chloride, but I've seen when I dilute this, I have been able to cement out. So you guys know I love silver chloride, but I really don't feel like using hydrochloric acid and aluminum or iron and weak sulfuric acid. I kind of just want to get this over with today. Man, I got to tell you, I am a big fan of using sulfuric acid and nitric to strip silver. It works great. It's a lot better than that silver plate, which is still chugging along. We'll go take a look at that in a little while. But see the cementation right here? This is what I'm going to go after, man. We're not going to play around with it anymore. I've made my mind on what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to cement it out. And next time I do this, I will reuse the acid, because you know you can use this 3 or 4 times after this. And Greta, come here. I'll say hi to Greta. And my feral lab cat's running around here somewhere. But anyway, there she is. That's it. We're going to cement it out, man. And this is really where I came up with the idea for cementing it out. Every time I went to rinse off the silverware that I had processed, this silver made silver cement. And here's some of it here, you can see. So I'm really going to just go ahead and cement it out. I'm going to use this, and we're going to pour that water into the nitric acid and the sulfuric acid. Now, I know we probably a little excess after that last run, but I got to call it quits. That thing's chugging along, isn't it? So we're going to supersize, and I am going to come back to this later. I'm running out of daylight, so we got to hurry. I'm going to set the phone down real quick. So here we go. This was that, I don't know, is it like 100 mil of that nitric acid and sulfuric acid solution, that stripping solution in there, and that's the rinse water. And this is what we're going to drop in real slowly. All right, so I'm going to put it in and then come back. Well, we're having a little bit of reaction there. You see that nitric coming off? So I had a little excess, and that's a shame. I really could have probably reused a lot of it, but the copper will and silver will dissolve and go back in solution, dissolve, go back in solution, eventually drop out. Anyway, I probably should have reused it, but you know, I got to get some results and move on. We'll see if I can't do live. I got to pour it. That would be dangerous to do one hand pour and nitric boiling over at the same time. Anyway, there we go. We're going to just finish it up in just a couple minutes. All right, so you can kind of see that silver sulfide settling out. I'm still going to dilute it and we're going to cement it out. But, you know, you can reuse this. I got to figure out a better way to do it and study it more. I know that cementation worked. And that silver sulfide, I could probably reduce that with lye and sugar or any other method, iron and sulfuric acid, and try and capture this liquid to reuse. I'm really impressed with the sulfuric acid, nitric. The more I use it, the better I get at it. It's probably my third time dropping stuff, maybe fourth time with this. And I think I'm starting to get a better hang of it. I gotta show you something really cool. You guys see that silver right there? It started when I started spraying off that little bit and popping up. Man, that's got a lot of silver in it, and obviously some nitric. You hear that? We're gonna top it off and call it a night. All right, I know I said we're gonna tuck it away, but this just goes to show you that I got to get better at using nitric acid incrementally. You can see a little bit of silver right there. But that right there means that I have used too much nitric acid when I did this. So we really need to start buttoning down that and doing things properly. But that looks pretty good, don't you think? Anyway, we'll come back to it in the morning, or after work rather. Cody, check this out, man. I know I used a little bit too much nitric acid, but I fixed it.